Have you ever noticed how the air changes before your mind even registers the shift in the season? A certain slant of light falling through the window, the sudden, sharp crispness in the autumn wind, the heavy, golden warmth of a late summer evening, or the first quiet chill of winter. And before you can even name the season, an old, familiar ache returns to your chest. It is the quiet sorrow of a returning season that no longer holds the people it once did. Suddenly, the world looks exactly as it did a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 10, but the landscape of your life has completely shattered. The empty chair at the table, the silence where a voice used to be, the traditions that now feel like heavy stones instead of celebrations. In these moments, the beauty of the season feels almost like a betrayal. How can the world continue to spin? How can the leaves still turn gold and the snow still fall when your personal world has stopped? Most people do not realize that the intense pain we feel when a familiar season arrives is not just about who is missing. It is about our hidden, desperate attempt to freeze time. We suffer not simply because we remember, but because we secretly expect the present to perfectly mirror the past. We hold the ghost of what was against the stark reality of what is, and in that empty space, our hearts break all over again. If you have ever felt a sudden wave of anxiety when a certain month approaches, or felt completely alone in your grief while the rest of the world moves on, this is for you. Stay until the end, because the final lesson may change the way you see this pain forever. In Buddhist thought, the seasons are the earth's greatest and most relentless teachers of impermanence. The natural world understands that nothing remains in bloom forever. The earth accepts the gentle cycle of birth, growth, decay, and quiet rest. But the human mind struggles with this profound truth. We become attached to a single, beautiful season of our lives. We want to live in the permanent summer of our happiest memories, surrounded by the people who made us feel whole. Imagine a great tree standing in the autumn wind. As the air grows cold, the tree does not grip its dying leaves. It does not weep for the warmth that has passed, nor does it resist the bareness of the coming winter. It simply lets the leaves fall. It allows the wind to strip its branches, knowing instinctively that releasing the old is the only way to survive the frost. The tree trusts the turning of the earth. We, however, are like a tree trying to glue the dry, fallen leaves back onto our branches. We exhaust ourselves fighting the wind. We hold on so tightly to the memory of the summer we once loved that the sheer effort of holding on drains the life from our roots. Think about your own life. Think about the season that always brings a heaviness to your heart. Ask yourself, when the familiar light hits the trees and the memories flood back, are you simply honoring a beautiful connection that existed? Or are you punishing yourself for the fact that time has moved forward? Are you clinging to the pain because a quiet voice inside you whispers that letting go of the pain means letting go of the person? Stop. Breathe. You do not have to fight the wind. The next time that familiar ache rises in your chest, as the weather changes, try this simple practice. Let the feeling rise without making it your entire identity. Let the memory arrive like a passing cloud. You do not have to chase it away, but you also do not have to anchor yourself to it. Because peace is not found in forgetting. It is not found in forcing yourself to be unaffected. Peace is found in allowing the seasons to change without breaking your spirit against them. But letting go of our resistance to time is only the first step. And this is where the next truth begins. Because beneath our sorrow over the passing season is an even deeper illusion we have quietly accepted as absolute truth. 2. The illusion of unchanging time. What if the deepest source of your suffering is a promise that life never actually made to you? Here is the truth few people want to face. We walk through life operating under a quiet, unwritten assumption that the good things, the safe things, and the people we love will simply stay. We build our homes, our daily routines, and our identities around the presence of others. And when a season returns without them, whether they are gone through distance, fading love, or passing away, we feel a profound sense of shock. We feel wronged. We feel as though a fundamental rule of the universe has been broken. We look at the empty chair on a holiday, or stare at a phone that no longer lights up with their name, and a voice inside us cries out, "It was not supposed to be this way." In Buddhist wisdom, this deep shock arises from a powerful illusion. We suffer because we believe that stability is the default state of the world, and that change is a cruel disruption. But Buddhism reminds us of the exact opposite. Change is not a disruption of life. Change is the very fabric of life. The concept of impermanence is not meant to be a dark or depressing thought. It is simply the truth of how things are. Life is not a solid object you can hold in a safe box. It is a continuous, flowing stream. When we expect the stream to freeze exactly where we want it to, we drown in our own resistance. Imagine standing by the edge of a fast-moving river. You reach your hands into the cold water and scoop up a beautiful, clear handful of it. For a brief second, it reflects the sunlight perfectly. It is a moment of pure joy. But water is not meant to be held. The tighter you clench your fists to keep it, the faster it slips through your fingers. And if you spend the rest of your days staring bitterly at your empty hands, mourning the water that returned to the stream, you miss the majestic, ongoing flow of the river entirely. This is what we do when we obsess over the past. When we replay old conversations in the quiet of the night, trying to figure out where things went wrong. When we stare at old photographs, trying to forcefully transport our minds back to a time when we felt safe. We are trying to grasp the water. We are trying to live inside a chapter of a story that has already closed, fighting the turning of the page. We feel emotionally exhausted because we are waiting for an old reality to return, rather than participating in the reality that is happening right now. Think about your own life. What handful of water are you still desperately trying to hold on to? Are you exhausting your own spirit, trying to squeeze permanence out of a passing moment? What are you truly afraid will happen if you simply open your hands and let the river flow? Pause, breathe. Notice the tightening in your chest when you think of what is gone. Do not judge it, just observe the tension. Then, mentally and physically, open your hands. Remind yourself that you cannot hold the river, but you can still be deeply grateful that it flowed through your hands at all. Because peace is not the absence of loss. Peace is the absence of resistance. You do not have to conquer the river. You only have to stop fighting its current. But accepting that things change brings up a new, heavy challenge. It forces us to look at the invisible ways we punish ourselves for surviving our losses. And this is where the next truth begins. Because beneath our grief is a hidden wound we are secretly keeping open. 3. The hidden wound of resistance. What if the pain you carry is no longer just the pain of loss, but the pain of refusing to heal? Here is the truth few people want to face. We often believe that our prolonged suffering is the ultimate proof of our love. When the familiar season arrives, when the air turns crisp or an anniversary approaches, we brace ourselves for the ache. But sometimes we do more than just brace for it. We actively invite it. We feel a strange, sharp guilt if we happen to experience a fleeting moment of peace or joy. We believe that if we stop hurting, even for a single afternoon, it means we have stopped caring. We hold on to our grief like a heavy, familiar shield, worried that if we finally set it down, we will lose our only remaining connection to the person who is gone. We force ourselves to remain in the heaviest shadows of our memories. In Buddhist thought, there is a profound distinction between pain and suffering. Pain is the inevitable first arrow that strikes us when we experience loss. But suffering is the second arrow we shoot into our own hearts through our resistance to reality. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is that healing does not require forgetting. Non-attachment is not cold indifference. It is the gentle wisdom to realize that you do not need to cling to agony to preserve love. Imagine a locked door in a quiet, dimly lit room. The person you loved has passed through it, and the heavy door has shut firmly behind them. For a long time you sit perfectly still on the bare floor, staring at the wood, weeping for them to return. This is natural, but as the seasons change, bright sunlight begins to pour through an open window behind you. The outside world is blooming, yet you refuse to stand up. You tell yourself that if you turn your back on the locked door to face the sunlight, you are abandoning them. You believe that your suffering in the dark is the only way to honor what you lost. This is what happens when we refuse to let ourselves live fully after a profound loss. It happens when a song they loved plays, and instead of allowing it to bring a warm smile, you plunge yourself back into devastation. It happens when you attend a family gathering without them and swallow your own laughter, because feeling happy suddenly feels like a betrayal. You are guarding a locked door while your own precious life quietly slips away. Think about your own life. What are you still holding on to that keeps you in the dark? Ask yourself, is this prolonged suffering truly an act of devotion, or is it an act of fear? Are you keeping the wound open because you are afraid that letting go of the pain means letting go of the person? Stop. Breathe. You do not have to prove your love through your exhaustion. The next time a memory arises, pause. Observe the thought without following it down the familiar spiral of guilt. Allow yourself to feel the warmth of the connection without demanding that the sharp pain accompany it. Stop trying to force the door open and give yourself permission to turn toward the window, because peace is not an insult to those who are gone. It is a quiet testament to the beauty they left behind. But recognizing that we do not need to suffer brings us to the very edge of reality itself. And this is where the next truth begins. Because to truly release the heavy stone of our resistance, we must understand the moving water that carries us all. 4. The river of impermanence. What if the very nature of life is exactly what makes it beautiful, even when it breaks your heart? Here is the truth few people want to face. We are absolutely terrified of endings. We spend our entire lives trying to build invisible dams. We want our surroundings to stay the same, our parents to stay young, and the people we love to remain exactly as they were in our favorite memories. When the crisp air of a familiar season arrives, reminding us that time has marched forward without them, we feel a deep, visceral panic. We try to anchor ourselves. We refuse to rearrange the furniture. We keep old voicemails saved for years, pressing play just to prove that the past was real. We cling to the physical artifacts of a life that is gone, terrified that if the objects fade, the love will fade with them. Buddhism teaches a different way. One of the deepest lessons of Buddhism is the understanding of impermanence. Everything that arises must eventually pass away. But this teaching is not meant to be a tragedy. It is not a cold dismissal of our pain. It is a profound liberation. It reminds us that holding on to a moment forever is impossible. Life is not a photograph. It is a continuous, living breath. When we demand that the breath be held forever, we only suffocate ourselves. Imagine a wide, powerful river flowing steadily toward the ocean. If you walk into the middle of this river and try to stop the water from moving with your bare hands, you will be knocked down. You will thrash against the current, swallow water, and scrape your knees against the heavy stones. The river is not malicious. It does not intend to drown you. It simply has a nature, and its nature is to flow. The water that surrounds you for a single second will never touch you again. If you stand there demanding the water return, you miss the profound beauty of the journey it is making. This is what we do when we refuse to accept that a chapter of our life has closed. It happens when we sit alone on a holiday, bitterly replaying how things used to be, fighting the reality of the present moment. It happens when we hold on to a past grievance because it is the last emotional tether we have to someone who is no longer here. We are thrashing in the river. We are exhausting ourselves against the relentless flow of time, demanding that the universe rewrite its oldest law just for us. Think about your own life. What are you still fighting against? Ask yourself, are you emotionally exhausted because you are trying to hold a river in place? What would happen if you stopped resisting the current and finally allowed the water to carry you forward? Pause. Breathe. The next time you feel that desperate urge to turn back the clock, stop. Let the feeling of loss drift past you like a fallen leaf on the surface of the water. You do not need to pull it under. You do not need to build a dam out of your sorrow. Let the river move. Because peace is not found in stopping the river. Peace is found in learning how to float. But as we surrender to this flow, a strange and quiet echo begins to rise up from the depths of our sorrow. And this is where the next truth begins. Because the grief we feel is not an enemy to be defeated. 5. Grief as the echo of love. What if the heaviness you feel is not a sign of weakness, but the exact measurement of how deeply you dared to care? Here is the truth few people want to face. We often treat our grief like an illness we need to cure. When a familiar season returns, bringing that sudden, sharp ache of someone who is missing, we feel ashamed of our tears. We tell ourselves, I should be over this by now. We try to push the memories away, apologizing to others for our sadness. We treat our broken hearts as if they are broken machines that simply need to be fixed. We believe that feeling the sting of loss after all this time means we are failing at moving forward. Buddhist wisdom teaches us to look much closer at the nature of this pain. Buddhism reminds us that sorrow and joy are not enemies. They are two sides of the exact same coin. Grief is not a mistake. It is simply love that no longer has a physical place to go. When we practice mindful acceptance, we stop treating our tears as a failure of spiritual strength. We begin to see them as a beautiful, natural reflection of a deeply connected heart. Imagine a vast, quiet canyon beneath an open sky. Long ago, a magnificent sound was made at the very edge of the cliff, a song of laughter, presence, and deep connection. The person who sang it has now stepped away. But the canyon is so vast, and the song was so powerful, that the sound continues to bounce against the stone walls. Years later, the wind shifts, and you still hear the reverberation. The echo is not a flaw in the canyon. It is not a sign that the stone is broken. It is the absolute proof that the song was real. This is what happens when grief strikes you seemingly out of nowhere. It happens when you are walking down the quiet aisle of a grocery store and suddenly see their favorite item on the shelf. It happens when you are driving alone and the golden hour light looks exactly the way it did on your last road trip together. You feel a sudden, crushing weight in your chest, but you are not breaking down. You are simply hearing the echo. You are experiencing the lingering resonance of a profound connection. Think about your own life. When the sorrow rises, do you immediately try to shut it down? Ask yourself, what if you stopped judging the timeline of your grief? What if you allowed the echo to ring out, acknowledging it as the final beautiful note of a song you were incredibly lucky to hear? Pause. Breathe. The next time the tears come, do not wipe them away in frustration. Let the feeling rise. Sit with the echo. You do not need to silence the canyon. Honor the love that created the sound in the first place. Because peace is not the silencing of grief. Peace is allowing the echo to fade naturally, without plugging your ears in fear. But as we learn to listen to this echo without panic, we are asked to face the deepest fear of all. And this is where the next truth begins. Because beneath our sorrow over those we have lost is a quiet confrontation with our own fragile existence. 6. Making peace with mortality. What if the deep panic you feel when thinking about the past is not just about who is gone, but a terror of your own fragile existence? Here is the truth few people want to face. We spend most of our lives pretending we have unlimited time. We build our routines, acquire our possessions, and make our long-term plans as if time is an infinite resource we can pull from forever. When a familiar season returns without someone we love, it shatters this comfortable illusion. The empty chair at the table does not just say, "They are gone." It quietly whispers, "You will be gone too." This realization terrifies us. We live in a quiet, constant dread of the next loss. We avoid talking about the end. We look away from aging. And we spend so much energy bracing for the next painful goodbye that we forget how to inhabit the middle. We are so afraid of death that we forget to be fully alive. In Buddhist wisdom, acknowledging mortality is not meant to be a dark or morbid obsession. It is one of the most powerful awakenings we can experience. Buddhism teaches that pretending death does not exist is what causes our deepest anxiety. When we accept that everything, every season, every relationship, every heartbeat is temporary, a profound shift happens. The shadow of mortality stops being a monster in the dark and becomes a wise, silent teacher. It teaches us that the fleeting nature of life is the exact source of its immense value. Imagine a single glowing candle in a quiet room. The flame is beautiful, warm, and comforting. But the very nature of the candle is that it is burning down. Its wax is melting. Its wick is slowly turning to ash. If you were so terrified of the candle burning out that you blew out the flame and locked the wax inside a heavy iron box, you would save the candle from melting, but you would completely destroy the light. The beauty of the candle exists because it is consuming itself. It gives light specifically because it will not last forever. This is what we do when we let the fear of loss stop us from living. It happens when you sit next to an aging parent, and instead of enjoying their laughter, your chest tightens with the agonizing thought of the day they will not be there. It happens when you hold back from loving someone completely, terrified that they might eventually leave you. It happens when you ruin the final, beautiful days of summer by mourning the winter before the snow has even fallen. You are trying to lock the candle in an iron box. You are letting the fear of the dark rob you of the light you are holding right now. Think about your own life. What relationships are you unintentionally guarding yourself against because you are afraid of how they will end? Ask yourself, are you spending the precious time you have staring anxiously at the melting wax instead of warming your hands by the fire? Stop, breathe, let that sink in. The next time you feel the panic of time slipping away, do not push the thought aside. Let the reality of your fragile life rise up, not with terror, but with reverence. Do not run from the thought of the end. Let it soften you. Let it remind you that this very second is a miracle, simply because it is happening. Because peace is not found in pretending we will live forever. It is found in letting the truth of our short time here make every single moment profoundly sacred. But acknowledging our fragility does more than just calm our deepest fears. It fundamentally changes how we look at the people still walking beside us. And this is where the next truth begins. Because when you stop fighting mortality, your eyes finally open to the present. 7. The tenderness of attention. What if the awareness of an ending is the only thing that can teach you how to truly pay attention? Here is the truth few people want to face. We spend so much of our lives distracted by the future that we become blind to the people sitting right in front of us. We listen to our loved ones with half our focus, nodding while our minds wander to our endless tasks and worries. We assume, with a quiet, dangerous arrogance, that there will always be another dinner, another conversation, another season. We treat the presence of others as an ordinary, guaranteed fixture in our lives. And it is only when the room is suddenly silent that we realize how precious the ordinary truly was. In Buddhist thought, the cure for this tragic blindness is mindfulness. But mindfulness is not just sitting quietly with your eyes closed. It is a fierce, tender presence in everyday life. When we finally stop fighting the reality of impermanence, a profound shift happens in our hearts. The shadow of mortality no longer makes us pull away in fear. Instead, it makes our attention infinitely more tender. When you truly accept that a moment will never be repeated, you stop rushing through it. You begin to treat the ordinary as deeply sacred. Imagine standing in a dense, quiet forest just as the sun begins to set. For a few brief minutes, a single brilliant beam of golden light breaks through the heavy branches and illuminates a small patch of the ground. You know that within moments, the sun will dip below the horizon and the light will vanish entirely. Because you know it is fleeting, you do not look away. You do not stare at the shadows. You stop walking. You stand perfectly still, and you soak in the warmth with every fiber of your being. You give the light your complete, undivided reverence, specifically because it is about to leave. This is what the awareness of mortality can do for our daily lives. It happens when you are sitting across from a friend, and instead of glancing away, you truly listen to the sound of their voice. It happens when someone you love makes a familiar mistake, and instead of snapping in frustration, you feel a sudden, softening wave of gratitude that they are still here to make it. You stop treating the people around you as interruptions to your day and start realizing they are the very purpose of your day. Think about your own life. Who are you sitting next to right now without really seeing them? Ask yourself, if you knew, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this was the final season you would share with someone you love, how would you speak to them today? What trivial argument would you instantly drop? What grudges would suddenly feel entirely weightless? Stop. Breathe. You do not need a tragedy to start paying attention. The next time you are with someone you care about, silently remind yourself of their impermanence. Let that thought soften your defenses. Strip away the distractions and give them the rare, beautiful gift of your absolute presence. Because peace is not found in living forever. It is found in being so deeply present that a single moment feels like a lifetime. But as we learn to bring this tender attention to the present, we must also figure out how to carry the memories of those who are already gone without letting the weight of them crush us. And this is where the next truth begins. Because remembering does not have to mean retreating into the dark. 8. Walking with the ghosts of joy. What if the memories that bring tears to your eyes are not meant to be heavy chains, but quiet companions? Here is the truth few people want to face. We are deeply afraid of our own joy once it has passed into history. When someone is gone, we often treat the happiest memories we shared with them as if they are a haunted house. We avoid walking down certain streets. We immediately skip a specific song when it comes on the radio. We pack away the photographs in boxes and slide them deep into the closet. We believe that looking at the good times will only sharpen the cruel knife of their absence. We banish the joy because we do not know how to hold it without the physical person attached to it. Buddhist wisdom offers a gentle shift in how we view the past. Buddhism teaches the practice of non-attachment, but non-attachment is not erasure. It is not forgetting. It is simply the ability to hold a beautiful thing lightly. When we release the desperate, agonizing need to recreate the past transforms. It stops being a bitter reminder of what we have lost and instead becomes a quiet testament to what we were incredibly lucky to receive. Imagine a deep, still lake in the middle of the night. High above, a brilliant silver moon emerges from the clouds, casting a flawless reflection perfectly across the dark water. The lake is illuminated, It is a moment of profound, quiet beauty. But eventually, the earth turns, the clouds roll back in, and the moon disappears. The reflection is gone. But the lake does not dry up in despair because the light has moved on. It does not turn violently against the sky. It simply settles back into its quiet depth. The lake remains a beautiful body of water, forever changed and deepened by the simple fact that it was able to hold the light at all. This is what we must learn to do with the beautiful memories of those who have passed on. It happens when you finally allow yourself to play their favorite song again, and instead of breaking down, you smile at the invisible presence in the passenger seat. It happens when you cook their favorite meal on a quiet Sunday, not to mourn the empty chair at your table, but to celebrate the deep warmth of having shared that table in the first place. You stop treating their memory as a dark ghost that haunts your present and start walking with it as a quiet, comforting guide. Think about your own life. What beautiful memory have you locked away in the dark because it simply hurts too much to look at? Ask yourself, are you punishing the joy you experienced just because it had to end? What would happen if you gently invited that memory back into your daily life? Not as a source of agonizing pain, but as a permanent, untakeable piece of your own heart. Pause, breathe. The next time a happy memory flashes in your mind, do not flinch. Do not brace for the sorrow that usually follows. Think of one simple, joyful moment with the person you miss. Let the warmth of that moment wash over you, and just let the joy be exactly what it was. Because peace is not found by emptying your heart of the past. It is found by letting the past live within you, without demanding that it return. But walking peacefully with these memories brings us to the final, quiet threshold of our journey together. And this is where the final truth begins. Because to truly honor those who have left this world, we must find the courage to face the life we still have. 9. The courage to remain open. What if the greatest tribute you could ever pay to the people you have lost is to simply allow yourself to be fully alive? Here is the final truth. We began this journey by looking at the quiet, devastating sorrow that arrives with a changing season, that sudden chill in the wind, or the familiar golden light of an autumn afternoon that reminds you exactly of who is no longer here. We saw how deeply we exhaust ourselves trying to freeze time. We hold on to the ghost of what was, terrified that letting go of our heavy grief means letting go of our deepest love. We punish ourselves for surviving. But you know now that peace does not require forgetting. You know that life is a vast, fast-moving river, and that fighting the current only pulls you under. You know that grief is not a weakness, but the beautiful, lingering echo of a profound connection. And you know that the shadow of our own fleeting time is not a curse to fear. It is a sacred call. It is the very thing that teaches us to pay deep, tender attention to the present moment, rather than sleepwalking through the time we have left. Think once again of that great tree standing in the wind. When the seasons change, the tree does not mourn the leaves that fall away. It does not forcefully close itself off from the world to protect itself from the winter. It stands quietly in the bare cold, trusting the deep roots it has grown. And when the warmth inevitably returns, the tree does not refuse to bloom out of loyalty to the previous year. It opens its branches to the new sun. It allows life to continue flowing through it. It accepts the new season. This is the final, profound courage you are being asked to find. The courage to remain open. When you finally stop guarding the locked door of the past, you realize something beautiful. The love you thought you lost did not disappear. It was absorbed into you. It shaped you. It became the very foundation of who you are. To live fully now, to laugh out loud again, to let a new season bring you actual peace, is never a betrayal. It is the ultimate honoring of the love you received. You take that love and you pour it directly into the present. Think about your own life. Are you ready to step out of the shadows? Ask yourself, are you finally ready to let the wind blow, let the river flow, and let the sun warm your face again without the heavy burden of guilt? Stop, breathe, feel the steady, miraculous rhythm of your own heart. You have carried the heavy stone of resistance for far too long. You are allowed to set it down gently by the side of the road. You do not have to conquer your grief, and you do not have to defeat time. You only have to stand tall in the present moment, trusting that whatever the next season brings, you have the profound strength to meet it. If these lessons touched your heart, share this video with someone who may need a little more peace today. Let life meet you where you are.